Let's do some exercise, and let's do it at Gold's Gym. And I'm fortunate to have the general manager of Gold's Gym in Jupiter and Port St. Lucie here with us in the studio. And, of course, he is a perfect role model for anything that happens at Gold's Gym. You know, I lived here a long time, and Gold's Gym's been around for a very long time, Jim.
Yes, it has. Decades.
What is there a history to this?
To Gold's Gym?
Yeah, is there a
founder? Gosh, Gold's Gym goes back to Arnold Schwarzenegger when he first started out, and down in Venice Beach, California, Muscle Beach, and Gold's Gym was in a small little storefront there, and eventually, with popularity of bodybuilding, the brand grew. A gentleman by the name of Joe Golds.
I was just going to ask my next question, but you answered it.
Developed the brand, and once upon a time it was about the bodybuilders and the movie Pumping Iron and so forth. But of course, to make it a real brand was to bring it to everybody. And so, somewhere decades ago, we started to use even the phrase "fitness for everyone" because we want an large and inclusive community at Gold's Gym.
And what was the name of the man that just died in his 90s who was such a fitness? Let's see, that was the one, and I'm trying to remember his name. But anyway,
Jack LaLanne.
Yeah,
yes,
that was exactly what it was. So we can't forget him because that's what the seniors really looked at.
Well, I'll tell you, when I was growing up, I can remember watching him on TV and being just incredibly impressed with his strength and the things that he was able to do. And whether it was on the Mike Douglas show, he'd come and he'd do all sorts of impressive things. And Jack LaLanne was certainly somebody that made an impression on me. Yeah,
he did. And sometimes it was silly, but he loved. He jumped up and down. He did all those things. Well, let's just ask about what happened. So someone decides that they're going to go. They see this advertising. They say, I'm going to go to Gold's Gym because, I'm out in the market now. I want to really look good. What happens? Just take us through the whole thing.
Sure. Well, first of all, Silver Sneakers is a really terrific benefit that comes with the different health insurance plans or supplemental plans for health insurance. And so they cover the cost of the gym membership. So there's one thing you don't have to worry about is when you come to the gym, nobody's going to try and sell you anything because you don't have to pay for it. The insurance company covers it if you use it. So the first thing that you're going to do is meet with one of the fitness consultants who will tour you around the gym and show you where the different rooms are, the group fitness rooms and the cardio equipment, where the yoga room is and the spin room, and these are all programs that Silver Sneakers members are entitled to participate with, not just Silver Sneakers classes or the senior fitness classes, but the whole gym, strength training and so forth. And I can tell you, at both of the clubs that I have, a very large population of seniors who are strength training. I've got a member who's 97 years old, doesn't take a class. He goes out on the floor and he lifts weights. He's got a small little program.
Yeah, but he didn't just go in and start. You have people there who will help him?
Well, we have personal trainers, but that's a service that you pay for separately. But we do have an introduction when you come to the gym. After you've been shown around, you get to meet with the director of training, and he'll give you a little understanding of what's going on. Now, the reality is that many of the classes are designed to teach you proper form of exercise, which you can then take from the class where you're using the neoprene colored dumbbells and you were just working out with a coach, an instructor who's showing you good form, and you can take that right out onto the floor if you want to work out on days, say, that your class isn't available. So you learn through the classes. You also learn through the training director who will show you around. And then, again, it's very popular for members to hire a personal trainer once a week to really think out a program, teach them a program, and then they use that the other days of the week.
How long does it take someone, if they start now, to build themselves up muscles? Is it the 3 months, 6 months?
Well, Anita, your body is not a decision maker. It's a response mechanism, and every single cell in your body knows as soon as you begin to exercise, every single cell has to respond. So you have a benefit after your first 5 minutes. And if you can go 20 minutes your first time or 15 minutes, your whole body knows that, and it's going to react to make itself stronger. And then the next time you come in, if you could go 2 minutes longer or put forth a little more effort, well, you just proved that you got stronger. Your body can't deny the response to the stimulus. Okay? So, our body has this one purpose. It's activity. And if we give it its purpose, its function, it functions better. It's when we don't give it its function, when we deny it what it's there for, movement and activity, well, then that all becomes harder and harder.
You're a great motivator.
Well, I love what I do.
There?
I have had this conversation with countless older adults who come to the gym, and they may feel that, Gold's Gym is intimidating, and it's not. Once you go there, you'll see that there's many, many people of your own age group, and it's really a very nice social experience,
I was just going to ask you about that. I'll bet there's been some interesting relationships made there.
Oh, absolutely. I can tell you that many of the older adults, and I'm talking 70, 80, 90-year-old folks, who the gym is their major social, other than their family, their major social interaction. And it's positive and healthy, and their friendships, and people end up meeting, and then, you can use my house up in New York, and, there's all these connections happen at the gym. And so it's certainly great for the body, but it's also great for the mind and the soul.
So it's better than Match.com, right? It's cheaper. No, I'm kidding, but I agree with you. And I'm really happy that you sought out our magazine, because we do have an incredible, great array of the older adults. And I know exactly what you're talking about as one ages, and they can't give up. And I have seen people who are in their 70s and 80s who it is hard to believe, and that's what's happened. But let me just ask you about some of the programs that you do have. So are you actually, people come in there 7 days a week? I mean, anytime? What are the hours?
Oh, we're open 363 days a year. 5 in the morning till 11, Monday through Thursday. Friday we open at 5 and we close at 10. Saturday is 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. and then Sunday is 7 to 7. So, on some holidays we'll shorten the hours, maybe 5 a.m. to 3 p.m. Or 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. New Year's Eve and so forth. But
they give people a little break, huh?
Yeah.
And how about so someone comes dressed because they want to go somewhere? They then get undressed because you probably have dressing rooms. And do you have all showers, too?
Sure. The facilities are very nice. They're very nice locker rooms. There are lockers that you can use. Jupiter has a steam room. They have
a sauna, or you mean a steam room?
No, a steam room in Jupiter and Palm Beach Gardens. And there's a sauna up in Port St. Lucie. That's for all members to use. I mean, obviously there's one in the men's room and one in the ladies' room. But the amenities are, there's couch and television in the locker rooms, and that's all. They can come, shower. We rent towels if they forgot their own, and
well, this is interesting because I have been to Gold Gym in Boca. I remember there was one, and I went
a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I remember that, but it doesn't sound as fancy as what you're telling me now. I think
we take pride in the facility that we offer.
Okay, so people are there, and what happens when somebody, let's say they, do something that's not quite right? I mean, they're not, doing the right movement. Does someone watch that? I mean, like if you're walking around,
Anita, unfortunately, that's a very difficult. Our staffing model is, we have front desk and we have people cleaning and we have trainers, and the trainers are working with people, so they're not walking around going looking for somebody to make mistakes. Unfortunately, our model is really a very fair price, competitive price. So the trade-off is, up in New York, you may pay $100 a month for your membership. well, then you have a right to expect a towel handed to you when you walk in and somebody walks around and gives instruction.
That's still not a lot of money for you can go every day if you want. That's not a
every
lot
day,
of money.
Sure. But, so that's where you go and you hire a trainer, because for that amount or less a month, you have your own person, not somebody who just might walk by accidentally and see you make a mistake, but somebody who's going to actually plan out an exercise program and who's going to teach you the proper form, and who's going to write it down and even keep track of your progress, pictures, weight, measurements, and so forth.
Oh, the whole thing.
Absolutely.
And
So people want to see how they've changed, and we don't see it. So we have to have some way of going forward in time. And if we've got our trainer who took the time to take our measurements and take pictures of us and weigh us, and then 6 months later we go and we look and they're saying, by the way, you need to buy all new clothes because those don't fit anymore. Here's how much you used to weigh, and here's how much.
Bad, right?
Yeah, right. But it happens. It happens very regularly.
Yeah, well, that's excellent. Well, I'm so glad. Let me just tell everybody you're listening to. Is it James McHale or
Yes.
Jim? It's James?
My father's Jim.
Okay. James McHale, and he's the general manager of Gold's Gym, Jupiter, and Port St. Lucie. If you want more information, I'm going to give you the number up in Jupiter. It's 561-743-3700. That's 743-3700. But if you want to go to goldsgymsouthflorida.com, you'll be able to find out a lot. I've seen your website, and it is very exciting. You were talking about some of the seniors, boomers, doing this. Are there any extra special stories that you can relate that you think people would like to hear about?
Well, there's two that come to mind, and the first one is the other day I was talking to one of my members, and he's about 84 years old, and I didn't know this about him, but he told me that he had only been exercising for 14 years. He started to exercise at 70, and he looks like he's younger than 70. But he had been active with golf and tennis, and he didn't find that he was able to do those as well. So he realized his activity level was going to drop off, and he then took up weightlifting. Looks fabulous, and So the point being, it's never too late to start.
Yeah, that's a very, very good point, because there are people who, as they're aging, they just have less strength. They can't do this. And you're saying, though, and I've read so much about this, that there have been studies where they take a group of people, who in their 70s, and at one point they're this category, and before you know it, they're much stronger, and some of them are even doing the triathlons.
Really, right?
I mean, and I guess it's an attitude too, but it's also the body is waiting, right, to be used. What did you say? I love the term. What did you say?
Well, it has a function, and its function is activity, movement. And if we fail to give it its function, it'll fail to function.
Right.
So.
And as one ages, unfortunately, people get sick,
yes.
And that's the first thing that goes. If they don't have that extra strength, then they just go down the tubes.
Along those lines, I had a older member in his 70s. He came to me and he just thanked me for the gym. And I said, "Oh, why is that?" And he said, "Well, I fell by myself." And he showed me his bruise. It was larger than a plate on his hip. Well, he said, if I hadn't been training, if I hadn't been lifting weights, I would never have been able to get myself up, and it would have been a day or two before anybody found me.
Well, James, that's a good story to end with. Would love to have you back again, because I want to hear more about this, and I think people listening will now have been motivated by you. Gold's Gym, everybody, and Joe Gold, wherever you are. Is he still living?
Well, he doesn't own the gyms anymore.
All right. Well, thanks, Joe, anyway, for the idea. Yeah. Thanks, James, for
coming.
Thanks,
Anita. I appreciate it.
All right. Bye.